It's Friday.
It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Oh, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and I am Jonathan Mark. And thank you, Mr. Paul Harvey, once again. It's uncanny how he always knows it's Friday. I don't know how he does it. It's amazing. Anyway, it is finally Friday, the end of the week, the end of a work week, sort of, even though I know people work on Saturday and Sunday, but it's still the end of the old-fashioned work week, right? And can you believe this weather? I mean, it just rains and rains and rains, and holy mackerel. I mean, it's terrible. And especially so, well, here's the deal. I normally come up here with a bunch of stories every morning, and I have a fistful of stories. And this morning, I have none, because I don't need it. Right? We were expecting probably half of the Hornell Dodgers up here this morning, but instead of half the Hornell Dodgers, we have the general manager and we have the head coach. So we're going to find out about the Hornell Dodgers and how the season's going and what it's about and all that stuff. Now, you gave me your first name. The general manager is Paul.
Yep, Paul Welker. I live right here in Hornell, and it's my 18th season with the Dodgers.
Wow. Now, the Dodgers started, I think, in 1994, I believe,
so
right?
This is our 26th year of playing summer collegiate baseball in Hornell, bringing back the history of the late 1940s and 50s when the Hornell Dodgers were a minor league franchise for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and there's probably 4 or 5 other franchises they were teams for as well.
Wow, so they have a long history, the Hornell Dodgers.
Exactly, and we're the oldest and winningest franchise in the New York Collegiate Baseball League.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's really cool. All right.
We play the most games too, so that's.
Now you have. I checked this out. You have a 42-game schedule.
Yep, 42 games. The guys moved in just under 3 weeks ago, right after Memorial Day. And guys have been here around 3 weeks, for 42 games, and they will. Hopefully, we leave the summer with a championship, and that would mean guys would be smiling and driving back to their hometowns. Last couple of days of July, or the first couple of days of August. So that's our hope. And we have 23, 24 guys on our roster. And other than 4 or 5 local guys, you're talking 20 guys that have given up their summers at home and are living with local families and playing ball. When it's not raining, it's been a rough week. So.
Well, talk about leaving your home. We also have the head coach of the Hornell Dodgers here. His name is Justin, and he is from West Virginia.
Yeah, my name's Justin Oney. I'm from West Virginia. I coach baseball out in Oklahoma. It kind of reflects on our roster. We have a handful of guys from Texas, Oklahoma, Florida. It's just kind of some of the connections I've built throughout the past couple of years. And it's my second season with the Dodgers. 2 years ago, the last time they won it, I was the pitching coach with C.J. Baker and Tyson Petersheim. And then this year I'm back as the head coach. So.
Now, where are these young men from anyway? I mean, they come from all over. It's just the East or the Midwest or where?
A lot. Each year it's different. We have guys from schools like Webster University, which is in St. Louis, Missouri. We've had guys on that team from that school for like the last 10 years. A lot of it depends on who we hire as a coach. One of my duties as general manager is to hire a coach, and then I sort of turn over the reins of the roster to them. They're the person that's going to be dealing day-to-day with the players on the field, and the connections that Justin and the coaching staff have build the roster. And one of the cool things for Justin being a young coach is he's connecting with other coaches that could lead job opportunities, developing his ability to talk to other coaches. He's recruiting these college kids to take their summer and play. When I played in this league over 20 years ago, there weren't as many options for summer baseball, and now there are. It's a thing. There's leagues popping up every year, so we are competing with other leagues and opportunities, and I think Justin did a great job with what he was able to do. And I sit back and I make sure we have enough first basemen. Do we have enough pitching? We have right-handed, left-handed. Do we have guys that can do a little of everything? And we're a place that we could have 40 people on the roster, but we always stay with the 24 to 26 because we want to give them opportunities to play and play over and over again. So.
Now, I was going to say something. That's right. So these young men are here from wherever they live, and they're here in Hornell. So if you leave your home for the summer, I mean, you've really got to be into baseball. I mean, these men are obviously clearly into baseball.
Yeah, these guys committed to playing baseball at the next level. The college level is always different than what it's like in high school. So it's something that they kind of understand when they get into it. And then just through the recruiting process, you kind of fill them out to make sure, like, yeah, it's summertime, but you're also signing on to, like, get better every day. And so far these guys have done a great job of, like, coming in, doing early work, getting work in before the game, after the game, just... they're lifting at the Y. You can tell that they're like truly committed to like being better at baseball. So
well, I've seen a number of Hornell Dodger games, and the level of play is really good. I mean, it's very good baseball.
I think people that have never gone to a game and come to a game are very surprised. And we're very lucky in Hornell that almost every single night you can drive by Maple City Park and there's a game. You could watch high school, and there's a giant jump from high school baseball to college baseball, and these young men that come to Hornell and play demonstrate that. We've had success where we have guys that get drafted and play professional ball, and we still follow guys that are playing in the major leagues or different levels of minor league ball. So
now, I was trying to think of it this morning, and I can't think of it. But there's a gentleman who pitched for the Dodgers, and he wound up pitching for the Mariners. And I can't think of his name.
The A's. It was Dallas Braden there's a young man named Dallas Braden who pitched for the A's. He threw a perfect game on Mother's Day years back, and he actually he's a sports personality now. He's on Barstool Sports every afternoon, and he's the on-field reporter for the Oakland A's now. He's quite a personality, but I could have told you that he was going to be a personality from his time in Hornell. He was a dominant player in Hornell. He was the best pitcher in the league that year, and he played first base and batted fourth in our lineup when he wasn't pitching.
Okay, batted fourth.
Yeah, he was.
Oh wow, and a pitcher.
Yeah, he struck out. He almost averaged around 10 strikeouts a start. So he was from a junior college in California. He ended up going to Texas Tech, and then got drafted by the A's and made it all the way up to the majors with A's.
So I guess that's the one I was thinking of. I guess it wasn't the Mariners; it was the A's. Clearly, I was wrong.
West Coast. West Coast.
I was close. I was on the right coast anyway.
And I think that's why guys come for a chance, because you get seen by somebody different. You're competing for someone different, and you never know. And there's not many days that I can't look at a box score in the major leagues and say, hey, I know that guy played summer ball in New York.
Oh, wow.
Maybe not for the Dodgers, but for another team that we compete with. And it's a fun part of projecting, this kid is a huge prospect. We look at, you look at rosters, and I know Coach Oni has to figure out how to pitch for some guys, and, you're like, wow, this guy should have a chance,
So how do you get to play on the Dodgers? I mean, do you volunteer, or are you? I mean, how does it work?
It kind of goes through the recruiting process. I've already seen. I was fortunate enough to already see the level of play and know the type of guys that would be able to compete in the league. So it was kind of up to me to go find the guys that I thought could play at the level, and it's a kind of a funny thing because it's a huge eye opener for some kids, just because the stigma with like, I want to play Division I baseball, and like, I want to play Division I baseball. But 2 years ago, and even this year, like, the best players on the team aren't always Division I players. And 2 years ago, we had 2 Division III kids that ended up being co-MVPs and were the best players in the league. And that was kind of eye-opening because we had guys from all over Division Is in the entire league, and like, these 2 guys were the ones that dominated it. So I just kind of go out, contact the people I know. It's like, hey, like, I'm coaching this summer. Do you have anybody for me? And they kind of know the type of personalities and stuff like that I'm looking for. And
a lot of it is believing in creating relationships with college coaches. Like I said, we've had guys from Webster University, and Coach Courage there is an awesome guy. He understands what the type of kid we need, and it's not all about what's on the field. It's about being able to be a good citizen in Hornell, because this is a totally different place than some place. Like they have to adjust because they're coming from Oklahoma, Florida, St. Louis. Like different metropolitan areas. Some places that could be even smaller than Hornell, and they have to adjust to the way things are here. And we do this. One of the things we do, and one of the things that the only way we do it is we have host families, and these young men become an adopted person into families in Hornell. And
I was going to ask about that. Yeah. So how does that work?
We have a housing director on our board of directors, Steve DeSanto, that works with the local community. He makes probably hundreds of phone calls and gets probably hundreds of no's. Normally, like, it works out every year. Sometimes I lose a lot of sleep because it doesn't look like it's going to work out when the guys are coming a couple days before. And we have great families that open up their house and become adopted families, and it's developed into long-term relationships. We have players, host families that meet them in Florida when they're down in Florida playing games, or they drive to Bucknell or Mercyhurst or other colleges that we've had players, and they go watch these kids, and they're part of their lives. They're invited to their weddings down the road and stuff like that. It's a neat relationship. Does every host family Dodger relationship end up with a lifelong friendship or a relationship? No, but a lot of them do, and I think there's a lot of respect with that. I don't know if the players understand it until years down the road when they have their own house and their own family, but they, like right now, like we said, we haven't played much in the last week, and our guys are being very amazing with it. They're very respectful. They're in the community. They're working hard, like we've done things that I would struggle with as a 42-year-old adult, and they've taken it with in stride and done it the right way and represented the organization very well.
Wow. So when these young men come here and they're with host families, do they so they become a part of the family?
Yep. They're at the Little League Park. Like my son plays on Little League baseball, and one of his teammates has a Dodger living with him, and Braden Cincigali was there at his last game. Whether it's if they're home for dinner, they're home for dinner. They do family dinners with them, and picking up, like the people that live with Peggy Lynn Plank, who feeds our team almost after every road game. Those two young men help unload the car and load it up for the next game, and just like you would expect your 16-year-old or 18-year-old if they're living in your house. And I always tell our players, I'm like, imagine your parents had your best friend move into your house for the summer.
Wow. So this is more than just about the game of baseball. I mean, this is about life.
Oh, definitely. Because if a guy were to get drafted and play low ball, a lot of low ball levels of minor league baseball have host families. Like if you went down to Batavia and the Batavia Muck Dogs, there are players staying with host families. So it's a good preparation for that, and like we said, we have guys that will have the opportunity in the next couple of years to go play and get paid to play baseball. So
do all these, I mean, you wouldn't know for sure, but I would imagine that all these young men have aspirations of playing in the majors.
I think they all have aspirations to play at a higher level. Some of them are realistic and realize that after, like, when I played in this league, I was realistic that I'm like, I'm playing in this league because I know I'm playing versus better competition. Am I a person that might get that chance? But it challenged me to get better, and I think we have guys on probably both sides of that.
Oh, I think we have to take a break, and we will be right back.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In the 2019 NBA Draft, no surprises in the top three. The New Orleans Pelicans, as expected, selected Duke forward Zion Williamson with the number 1 overall pick. At number 2, the Memphis Grizzlies took point guard Ja Morant from Murray State. And with the 3rd pick, the New York Knicks selected shooting guard R.J. Barrett from Duke. Virginia forward DeAndre Hunter was taken 4th. The Atlanta Hawks moved up in the draft with a trade to select him. And the Cleveland Cavaliers picked Darius Garland at point guard out of Vanderbilt with the 5th overall selection. In soccer, at the Women's World Cup, the USA shot out Sweden 2-0 to win win Group F and improved to 3-0 in the tournament. They have yet to allow a goal so far in that tournament. Up next will be Spain for the U.S. on Monday. Baseball news, the Tampa Bay Rays have been given permission by Major League Baseball to explore playing their games in Florida and some of their games in Montreal, Canada. On the field, Yankees won their 6th in a row, beating the Astros 10-6. Cubs over the Mets 7-4, while the Brewers fall to the Reds 7-1. Chicago moves a game and a half up on Milwaukee for the top spot in the NL Central.
And we are live on the line right now with our mystical meteorologist, Rob Carroll. And Rob, good morning.
Jonathan, good morning. How are you, sir?
Oh, good. A little soggy, a little wet. Rain, rain, rain.
That's right. But the good news is sun this weekend.
All right. Now, we have a baseball team here, part of the Collegiate Baseball League, and they have a doubleheader coming up on Sunday. And so let's hope for good weather. Yes.
Yeah, no, they're going to get it. We've got high pressure headed our way at exactly the right time, Jonathan. Low pressure moving out of the region. We have some cloudiness right now over the southern tier, but out towards the Jamestown area, the sun is out. The sun's out also up towards Niagara, and it's starting to break out in Rochester, and that is a sign of drier weather working its way towards the region. So the good news is we'll tend to turn partly sunny on this longest day of the year. Temperatures will be up to 70 to 75. It'll be breezy as well. Humidity will go down during the day. Sun came up this morning at 5:34. It's sets tonight at 8:51. The summer solstice occurs at 11:54 this morning. Tonight, clear, cool, comfortable. We're 50 to 55. High pressure builds our way tomorrow with abundant sunshine. It'll be breezy. Highs will range from 70 to 75 tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, clear, cool yet again, 50 to 55. And for Sunday, great, partly sunny, mild temperatures anywhere from 75 to 80, Jonathan.
Ideal for a baseball game.
Looks good for both, yeah.
Very good, very good. Rob, thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
You got it, sir.
Okay, bye.
New to golf or seasoned veteran, you'll enjoy the casual, relaxed atmosphere of Vanderview Golf Course. 2 miles from downtown Alfred on Waterwells Road, Vanderview is a 9-hole executive-length golf course with a driving range on one side of the road and the course on the other. Family-friendly and fun recreation for everyone. Greens fees are one price for unlimited play, $9.50. High school students, only $5. Children 12 and under with an adult, no charge. You can play up to 18 holes or 9 holes with a cart and get the second 9 holes at no additional charge. Ladies and senior golfers who don't hit the long ball, Vanderview's got the executive length that's just right for your game. And new this year, a season pass for only $100. That's a lot of golfing fun for a very little bit of money. Vanderview Golf Course, 2 miles from downtown Alfred on Waterwells Road. Vanderview Golf Course.
From the Fox Business Network, 2 former executives of office rental company WeWork are suing their former employer, accusing the company of age discrimination. Its former human resources executive says in a complaint filed in New York State Court, they pay wages highly skewed in favor of men. She says after she raised the issue, she was put on leave and the company moved to terminate her. WeWork denies the allegations. Consumer Reports is out with its reliability ranking of large appliances. The top rating goes to Speed Queen, which only makes washers and dryers. When expanded to brands that make all appliances, LG came out on top, followed by Bosch, GE, and Kenmore. Wall Street rallying yesterday with the anticipation the Federal Reserve will lower interest rates if necessary. The Dow was up 249, the Nasdaq added 64, and the S&P was up 27 to a record. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Tom Graham.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month's supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. So easy. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/Chris. That's 4hims.com/Chris.
And we are back. Now, Joel Orient has a question for our guests here. We have the general manager and the head coach for the Hornell Dodgers. Now, I've known Joel since, Wow, 2001? And Joel knows a lot more about sports than I do. Trust me on that. So I think he has a question.
So I'm checking out this very cool and nice Hornell Dodgers sports booklet, which, by the way, if you want more information on the Dodgers, it's HornellDodgersBaseball.com. Of course, they are the 6-time New York College Baseball League champions. That's 95, 2000, 02, 05, 14, and 17. No pressure on Paul and Coach, but if they win this year, it would be 3 out of the last 6 years. I actually have 2 questions for GM Paul Welker. The first one, not so serious, and then the second one we'll get into a little bit more business. But I'm looking in the booklet here, Paul, and I'm getting a little older, and my dream was that I wouldn't have to mow and weed whack my own yard. So I'm seeing in this booklet, dial a Dodger. Now, is it true that if I need help around the house, I can dial a Dodger and maybe they can come and help me mow my lawn?
Definitely. We don't have many people that take us up on that. Actually, we actually have a couple people this year that have actually done that. You know, these guys are here to play baseball, but they also are college 18 to 22-year-olds that money is always good because they end up at Applebee's almost after, I think they call it Club B's, after games because it's one of the only places open after you play a game till 10:30. So, there people have odd jobs, you know, things that, you know, might not necessarily be on a huge schedule because our schedule changes every day, and like this week it's changed every time it's rained. So, you know, they can contact me at HornellDodgersBaseball HornellDodgersBaseball@gmail.com, and I can set them up and try to arrange things. You know, like I said, we don't get tons of requests, but we're definitely interested in, and some of our guys would definitely enjoy the money.
Sure, I'm totally into that because I actually, you know, thought I would always have somebody around the house to help me do things like that. Then I realized working in radio, I couldn't afford that. So my other question for Paul is, you guys have a week-long camp coming up. Why don't you go ahead and give the dates and the details about that?
Yeah, we have we have a week-long camp the second week in July 8th it starts, and we'll go the Monday through Thursday at the Hornell Little League Park from 9 a.m. to noon. You'll get to a combination of Coach Oni and the rest of our coaching staff, along with Coach Mike Armstrong from Alfred State, will be the camp clinicians. And then each day we have different Dodgers that come in that work with players. We work with the students. We also are doing 2 mini camps. One actually starts next Thursday. We'll do next Thursday and Friday. And then there's another mini camp right after the week-long camp. So there's more information on HornellDodgersBaseball.com of all that stuff.
Now, I know, Jonathan, you guys talked about Dallas Braden, who obviously is one of the more popular and well-known Dodgers with his playing career and now being a sports personality. A couple of the guys I kind of remember, he was a little bit before my time, Tim Hudson, but maybe some people might remember, and Paul, you can talk about him because I believe he played was it the World Series a couple years ago with the Indians, Rajay Davis, correct?
Yeah, Rajay Davis played in Hornell in 2000 for Coach Mark Agnello, who's actually the Wellsville High School coach now. He played, and he's with the Mets. He hit a home run in his first at bat in the majors with the Mets a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
But he's famous for he hit a home run in I think it was Game 7 of the World Series
Chapman.
Yeah, or is it? He hit a huge home run that sent the game to extra innings when he was with the Indians, and he's a guy that we continue to follow, and he definitely still connects with Coach Agnello and some of the people here, and that's the same with Tim Hudson. I know Coach Kenny, who founded the team, is still in connection with him. And they remember their time here in Hornell, which is kind of a cool thing. They remember the little things, like I know Tim Hudson still talks every once in a while about Pizza King, and that's that's stuff that not only about the baseball, they remember the families and they remember the different restaurants and experiences they have here.
That's very cool. Does that help you guys at all with the recruiting when you got guys, Tim Hudson, obviously a little older for maybe these whippersnappers, but Rajay Davis, who's still playing, Dallas Braden, does that help these guys? I'm sure you tell them about them playing with the Dodgers. Does that help as a recruiting point?
I wouldn't say it's a main recruiting point, but it's always something like kind of like a fun fact, like, oh yeah, like Cornell Dodgers, Rajay Davis played here, and then you kind of name like Tim Hudson, Dallas Braden, and then the guys you're talking to is like, oh, that's cool. So like, there's a legitimate competition here, and it's like, yes, there is. Check it out.
Unfortunately, time is just about up. I hear the closing sounder playing. So it's been a real pleasure having you guys. It really has. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, remember that all our home games are on this station. Frank Williams is the best in the league. And, And make sure to come out, listen to him if you can't get to the ballpark, but make sure to come over to Maple City Park. We're almost home every day in July. Once we get past July 9th, I think July 9th to July 21st, we're home like 12 of the 14 days. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys a lot.
Thanks for having us.
And for our listeners, I'll see you Monday at 8:05. Bye.